4, 3, 2, 1, go. Hey guys, this is Ranch here at Bigfile Commentary. This is going to be the third set between Fantasy and Calm in the Bigfile MSL quarterfinals. Fantasy 2-0 ahead. And thinking about what map they're playing on, there is no reason why he shouldn't come out with a win here. Polaris Rhapsody. Terran versus Zerg. Heaven. For the Terran, that is. Bottom right hand corner, 5 o'clock position in purple as the Zerg is going to be Calm. Upper left hand position, Terran in blue, going to be Fantasy. And we might see Fantasy. I don't really know if he's going to do anything funky. Don't really think he needs to. And never mind, he's gonna. Or sending, I think, maybe. I don't know. He's sending out an early SCV here. And we're going to see whether he is going to do something funky. I just thought, you know, hey, he's 2-0 ahead. Might go for something funky. I don't really see the reason to do this because if he's going to go for some crazy cheese, because honestly, this is Polaris Rhapsody. This is an insanely Terran favorite map, and you just play a standard game as a Terran against a Zerg here. Go for mech, and you're going to win. But Fantasy doesn't want to do that. He's just going to plant a barracks here just outside that 3 o'clock expansion and hope that Calm goes for 12 o'clock, 12 hatch build and catch him. And we're going to see whether Calm actually does exactly that. He's not getting the spot on that position with his Overlord. I don't think he's actually getting a spot on that. Just has, let's see on the minimap, not spotting it. Has no road floating towards that location, so he's looking for this apparently. And it does look like he's just going to send out a drone, go for the 12 hatch, and this is right playing into Fantasy's hands. Playing right into Fantasy's hands. This is exactly what Fantasy wants him to do. 12 hatch going to come up, and Calm unfortunately not spotting that position there with his Overlord. He has an Overlord right there, man! Just a little bit to the right, and he would have spotted that position. But it doesn't look like he's going to. Oh man, that is such. Overlord went just past that barracks. Nice positioning from Fantasy. Yeah, you can see just a little bit past it. Nice positioning. Drone gonna come off the line. Also to go in and scout. Kind of go straight into the main. Spot that out. Hotel hatch comes up. 1 Marine, 1 SCV, spawning pole, not even halfway there. We're going to be seeing a bunker. Is he actually going to go with SCV up the ramp? No, just never mind. That was just the SCV scout, just to kind of foil and make Calm think something he should be thinking. Meanwhile, now the bunker is going to come down at the Natural Expo. Camille has gone inside Fantasy's spot. I think that's Supply Depot of all things. He's actually going to lock the drones inside with 2 Supply Depots. Oh my god, that is beautiful. Oh, Calm's going to cancel. Oh yeah, I got to go cancel and try to get his resources going. Oh my god, that is beautiful. Fantasy just going to build 2 supply depots to blockade Calm inside, and this is going to be horrible. Calm going to plant down a hatchery there, maybe hoping to get some Sunkens in there. CV meanwhile also going to go in there and scout. Fantasy's obviously not going to be able to get in there, but I think he might even not fully build the supply depots just so he can break him down when he feels he wants to get in that base. Yeah, he has 1 unbuilt supply depot, 1 fully built, 1 unbuilt supply depot. Fuse Rogan is going to come off the line, but I don't really think they're going to be able to do much to break anything with those 4 Marines standing outside. This is absolutely well planned. Beautiful cheese from Fantasy. Kamioga has a drone scout inside of Fantasy's base, but I don't really think he's going to do too much. I think he actually managed to pick up a drone. I heard a CV actually. I think actually might have been scouting a CV dying. Never mind. But yeah, Calm is a significant amount of trouble. He has to get some sunken colonies near that new hatchery of his to try to break out of this, because I think these Zergans just no way. And really, if he even manages to, I don't think he's going to be a good prime position to really do much of anything. Gonna get his alert going, so that he's trying to work on his tech. Fantasy meanwhile has a second barracks coming up, so he's going to continue pumping forces. Meanwhile has actually floated his other barracks. Is he actually floating it? No, I think he's actually floated that back home. Has an academy to work on right now. Just going to work on his tech, get medics in there, and just has medic marine force outside that base. Calm really not going to be able to do much at all off one base. Just going to hope for that creep to kind of get out there so you can start planting down sunken colonies. Yeah, just waiting for that creep. Actually, just going to plant an early creep colony. Later outside. I'm not quite sure whether actually he should range those. Not quite sure if he ranges those supply depots. We're going to see Spire being worked on. So 1 base Spire. Calm just hoping to get something going. Firebat and Medic meanwhile going to go into this natural expansion here now for Fantasy. And Calm is in a significant amount of trouble. Trying to spawn some more drones. Is he actually going to get past the supply depots maybe try to get a scout in. I think he actually might have spotted that sunken colony come up. And Spar's still not up, but now Fantasy going to go break up 2 Firebats, 4 Marines, and a medic. 1 Marine instantly goes down, but that sunken colony not where it needs to be. Firebat, 1 Firebat staying alive. Oh, that is a critical Firebat. Calm might have actually broken this without that Firebat, but just going to lock himself in there. Drones really not going to be able to do much of anything. Not going to start mining. Spar going to be attacked at this point. Spar might not even come up. Beautiful blockade here, and Calm can do diddly squat against it. Just has his drones, not even mining right now, trying to put down creep colonies. Should have expected this break, really. Going to try to slowly pick out those forces there. Try to get to that Firebat before his Spar goes down, but I think he might actually lose his Spar. And is going to be able to... almost! Come on, go! Going to be able to kill the Firebat. Spar going to be coming up at half health. And Fantasy going to stop his shenanigans. Just going to get his forces up back home. Has 2 barracks continuing to get forces going while he actually floats the second barracks off. Calm going to pick off that supply depot, try to do a little bit of damage to Fantasy, but I think he actually should be on top of it. Should know, hey, I'm going to probably lose some supply out there. Might want to be working on some more back home. Going to be getting now his range upgrade, has Stimmer in there. Zerg is going to go out there hoping to catch Fantasy a little bit, but Barracks isn't even going to give him a scout. And 2 lone Mutalisks going to fly out there and try to do something, but I really don't think that's any chance at this point for Calm to get back into this game. Is on 1 base, has 3 Mutalisks flying out there, while Fantasy has kind of hunkered in. He has enough at this point. He has enough medic Marines. I think even to fight back 1 turret even would help him out, but I think he has enough to fight back his moves. Only 2 Mutalisks at this point. Really won't do much. Turret's going to come up as well, and these medic Marines, even in a small number against that few Mutalisks, really not going to be able to do much of anything. 4 Mutalisks going to attack this barracks, so hoping to at least slow down Fantasy's production of units. Might take out that barracks actually, and he's continued to reinforce his Mutalisks. Has 6 at this point, has a 7th one going out to reinforce. Might take down this barracks, so it's at least a little bit to avoid production. One is to be going to go out there to scout, but Zerg's going to deny that, but still Calm in a very bad position. Not going to be able to do much of anything. Fantasy at this point just going to start taking up, and don't really think he feels any need or has a need to expand. He's on 1 base. He hasn't had any economic damage done to him. Calm has been forced to cancel a hatchery, rebuild drones. He's lost from drones. He's had a lot of damage done to him, and I think could trying to expand for Fantasy at this point just be unnecessary risk. So he's just going to stay inside of his base. Mutalisks going to try to fly around. Fantasy's going to try to get something done with this Mutalisk group, but with all those medic Marines inside us, alongside a few turrets to defend, I think Fantasy will be able to fight this back just fine. Hydra's coming out, getting scanned the second that happens. So I think Calm might be trying to go for some lurkers. At this point, I think he really needs to try to expand. Just try to expand, try to get his economy a little bit stronger. I think it's just going to leave him open to risk really more than anything else, but just needs to keep that Mutalisk number alive. And rather than try to get in, which it just doesn't seem like he's going to manage to do, at the very least try to prevent Fantasy from expanding when he might eventually think of starting doing that, and prevent Fantasy from pushing out of his base. Just force stims and try to get some damage, but it just doesn't look like he's going to have enough to do that. Try to get a few hits off, but just losing Mutalisks. No weapons won't upgrade yet on these Marines, but once that weapons won't upgrade hits, that's going to make it even more deadly. Expansion halfway up now for Calm. He's going to try to get something done with some Zerglings and Lurkers on the side. At the very least, deny any thought of expanding from Fantasy. But Fantasy, I think he just feels safe enough to stay on these bases here. Just, stick to it. Work on his starport right now. Work on his tech. Once his assigned source is out there, just go out there and irradiate, and that's going to be the end of it. It's going to take him a little while to get there, but still, maybe Calm can do something with these Lurkers. Try to go for the attack, but I just think trying to break up that ramp is going to be impossible. Bunker at the front, medic Marines at the back, ready to go in there. It's going to have to go for a very large diversion. And also, Fantasy knows this is coming. That's why he's working on his science also. He knows something like this is coming. He has that turret at the front exactly for those purposes, just to take down these Lurkers. And I think Calm actually went with his Zergling in there and spotted out that turret. So I don't think Calm's going to... Yeah, he's not going to try to break up there. I'm just going to sit outside the natural. So if anything tries to move out, he can take it out. There's even a tank ready to take on those Lurkers once the Science Whistle comes out. So just Fantasy setting himself up, playing safe, setting himself up for an eventual victory. And it just doesn't look like Calm really can do much of anything to prevent that. Is going to get his natural expo up right now. And going to start trying to get some economy going. And yeah, having idle drones at this point, not a good idea. Calm working on his Evo chamber, so yeah, it's kind of swinging more into a slightly more standard type of game. But Calm has such a clear disadvantage that I really don't think he's gonna be able to get back into this. Has those Mutos flying around, has some Zerglings back home, lurkers at the front, and this is just not even really locking Fantasy in, because he's gonna be able to break out of this no problem. Just get his siege mode going, get a Silence Facility out there. Actually gonna go out there with with SCV, and actually, yeah, nice smart play there from Calm, actually stopping his lurkers and maybe try to trick Fantasy. But I think with the Science Vessel out there, there's no way he's gonna be able to trick him. Those tanks are just gonna be ready. He's gonna be suspicious. Shouldn't be any reason that Fantasy gets fooled by this. Yeah, Science Vessel's already coming out there. Second SCV. Science Vessel knows all about this. The lurkers, yeah, just never mind the stoppage. Has lurkers at the front. Zergling's going to come in. Mutalisk, because, well, this is going to be at the final battle. Calm going to try to get a little bit something done. Has his two lurkers, but tanks, even without siege, is doing a hell of a lot of damage. Medic Marines fighting back these Mutalisks. Mutalisks are still in a rather large number, but still, I think, way too many Medic Marines. Just the lurkers go down instantly. Still has all his tanks. And Medic Marines also just spare. And even if Calm tried to get as many lurkers and Zerglings out there right now as he can, because he has bolstered his economy at least a little bit, enough to be able to put down additional production hedge just to try to produce as many forces as humanly possible, he's just not going to be in a good position. Losing the Overlord at this point also pretty bad. He's not just not going to be able to hold back these tanks, and Medic Marines are going to be trying to go into his base. Meanwhile, Lurker, I think, actually sneaking past, trying to get into Fantasy's base again, doing a little bit of damage. Fantasy going to start working on his command center. Meanwhile, going to go to expand Lurker. Going to get spotted by that SCV, and I don't think the Lurker really just going to stay outside. Hope to deny that command center for as long as humanly possible. I really don't think it's going to be able to do much. Let's see, Mutalisk alongside those Scourge are going to try to, at the very least, pick off that command center. Not going to happen. Minimum amount of damage to the command center. Lurkers also here waiting near the 6 o'clock position, but just going to be forced to push back. I don't think there are any sunken colonies back home for Calm either. Not quite sure if he's put any up. If he hasn't, he really should. Some Overlords also going to get caught out. Oh man, bad position for Calm to be in. Has nothing but lurkers and Zerglings back home to defend. Gonna go for a full-on assault on these forces coming in close. Gonna be able to pick up a tank, pick off a tank here at the front. Gonna try to get him even closer. Lurkers going down. Mutalisk's nowhere to be seen anymore. And Calm's entire force, there's only 2 lurkers now. They're just going to get pushed back. He's trying to reproduce, trying to get some more lurkers, and then trying to get some more Zerglings. This is a pure defensive game at this time for him. Fantasy, meanwhile, going to be working on his own Expo and just has reinforcements working on. Zergling's going to go out there. They're going to get killed. Lurkers die even before they get in close. And there should be a GG from Calm any second. Medic Marine is going to be able to bypass any defenses. No sunken colonies. Siege tanks shelling the natural. Bunch of Zerglings are going to try to get out there and do whatever they can, but futile. Calm GG's, and Fantasy 3-0ing his opponent is going to be able to get into the semifinals of the Bigfile MSL. Fantasy's by far best run in MSL so far, and the former champion of an MSL. Calm, not with his best ZVT game ever, but, you know, at the very least he got himself to the quarterfinals. That's something. Still getting knocked out fairly easily here in the quarterfinals. So Fantasy, meanwhile, just going to be proud of himself. Going to go to the semis, where he might be facing Flash, depending on how that turns out. So he might have a big hurdle ahead of him, if that is indeed what happens. GG guys, Wrenching at the assisting. Hope you enjoyed. I'm going to go get myself something for my blocked as hell nose.